Good morning, everyone. If you can hear me, kindly type in. If you can hear me and can see my screen, kindly type in a hi in the comment section, please. Hi, Max. Good morning to you. Oh, great. Hi, Carrie. Good morning. I hope you had a wonderful night rest. Okay, Karolinska. Good morning. Hi. Hi, Super Mario. Hi, Kauter. Hi, Wazwa. Sure. Good morning. Thank you. Yeah, Super Mario, I see you. Sabi, good morning. Yes, I think we have positive response this morning. Well, on my own part, I'm so excited to be with you guys this morning. I had a good night rest, and I hope you do as well. Siva Santi, good morning to you too. So great. I think we are on a positive note this morning, and I think it's high time we dived into the chat to see what's going on today. Mouth watering. Okay. Moin moin. All right. Well, the first pair we want to be talking about today is the UK oil. And we actually saw that strong bullish momentum that gripped the market since yesterday as we saw a break above of 120.50 area and price continue up into 124.108. Did anyone take advantage of this bullish momentum yesterday? Because we were actually looking forward to a selling opportunity if we have a breakdown retest of the neckline we identified here. We were looking for the sell opportunity and this area as our take profit target. However, price moved significantly against all expectations, and it appears price. And earlier this morning, we saw this bearish engulfing candle, which took out all the profit that was made yesterday. So right now we are here right now, and what is going to be our expectation going forward? So with the scenario we have here at the moment, please let me allow me to delete all this. It's not it's no longer relevant at this point. So if we look left, we can see our supply zone around that area still stand. And if you remember what I said yesterday, I said since we had a significant breakout of that supply zone during course of last week trading session, we might be looking forward to price come back into this area to test this area. Then afterward, we look forward to a trend continuation to the upside. So with the present scenario in the market, I think it is most appropriate that we just hold on and let's see how price plays out in the next couple of days probably. And that will now decide how well we want to take advantage of any opportunity aligning before us here on the UK oil. However, when I looked closely into I looked left and see what has been happening since on the 11th of May, we can identify a bullish trend line around this area, which could probably be an area where we'll be looking for buying opportunities uh, in the future. So let's see how price plays out in that regard. And one of my colleague will ask, okay, fine that we have this selling momentum. What if this selling momentum continues to the downside? Aren't we going to take advantage of that move? Well, we can't take the advantage of that move. We can take it. That's only if we have structures that will support that bearish move. And as you can see, we already have a strong bearish engulfing candle, and it's not appropriate that we just jump into the charts just like that without taking into consideration other parameters. And one thing I also noticed here is that if we scale down to the 15 minutes time frame, for instance, we can see that there is something that looks like a reversal pattern at this point. We have something that looks like a double bottom structure, and then a signal can come in the form of a breakout of that structure, a retest into structure, then we can now join. However, for me, that will only happen if we have the pattern formed. Give me a moment. Let us look at our line chart here and let's see. There's another structure around this area that hold on a second, please. I'm looking at something here. And if we look left here, we can see we have a structure around here. We also have another structure. So we had a consolidation phase around this area before price did that impulsive move. So right now we are right back. Okay, so what I'm saying here is this. If we see what happened during yesterday, we saw that price was caught in a consolidation phase around here before we saw that bullish move, and that bearish engulfing candle took away all the profit and price is right back in that area. So I want us to be using this channel as a guide going into the new week, as a breakout of that channel, a breakout of the channel and a retest of structure with patterns that support a trend continuation should give us a bullish bias on this one. However, if we do have a breakdown of the structure and a retest of that bullish trend line or structure around this area, then we should be looking for opportunity to sell the UK oil. So personally for me, we want to be having entry point right above and below. If it is a buy, we take right above, and if it is a sell, we take it right below this channel. So if we are buying this pair, then we want to be looking for price right above this area. That is, if we see a breakout, or probably if we see a breakout of that bullish trend line, a retest into structure, it will go as far as this area, and we look for structures that support a trend continuation. So where will our take profit target be at this point? We want to project this impulse leg into the future, and let's see what we have here. Let's see what we have here. We have this impulse leg right from this area. So if we bring our Fibonacci extension tool and we aim at 127.2%, we'll have somewhere around 126 area as our take profit target for any buy momentum on this one. And if we are having a selling position, hold on. So if we are having a selling position on this one, definitely we want to see a breakdown of the structure a retest into structure, and then we look for patterns that support a trend continuation to the downside. So for selling opportunities, hold on a moment. For the buying opportunities, we have our stop loss right below that structure. We have it right below that structure around that area. And if we have our selling opportunity, then we want to have it right below here. And our take profit target will probably be somewhere around here. As you can see, if we look left, we can see that we have a demand zone that actually that pushed the price up into 124 area. So we have a demand zone around this area. So we can be looking forward to $112 as our take profit target. With our stop loss right above, right below that previous low, we could have something like this. So on the UK oil, what I'm looking forward to, if you would allow me to come again, what I'm looking forward to is, first of all, if we have a breakout of the structure, then a retest gives us a confirmation to move upward. Then we could take advantage right above that area. However, if there is a possibility that we could be doing, price could be going further down. So we want to be looking forward to a breakdown of structure, then a retest into structure, and then we look for patterns that support a trend continuation to the downside. So this is my perspective on the UK oil. Personally, I'm expecting that the UK oil still have some room to go higher. However, we can't ignore the potential of a bearish move at this point, especially after seeing that bearish engulfing candle that gripped the market at this point. So on this regard, let's see how price action plays out in the next couple of hours, or probably during the New York session. And tomorrow we can take a look at what actually happened. So I think I'm done on the UK oil. I don't know if there are questions whatsoever. If you have further clarifications, please state it in the comment section so I could attend to it. Is there any? Okay. In the absence of none, I guess I just have to move on. So on the US oil, it was a very, very positive scenario we had, as the take profit target we set last week was finally price came close to that take profit target at this point. As you can see, price did not hit our stop loss. This I remember yesterday I said we should move our stop loss to $115, and price still holds that stop loss. And I made mention of the fact that if we do have a breakout of this pattern we identified here, that we could add one more position to this trade. I don't know if anyone did that. I don't know if you actually took advantage of that move to the upside. Then if you had done so, kudos to you. So presently, price is in profit. We are already in profit. We have a position running in profit of about how many pips that is. We have around over 800 pips, over 800 pips. That's massive. And one thing we want to be looking for at this point is to move our stop loss right below this low. That's around $118, and that's how many pips. Um, that's how many pips we have. We have 740 pips thereabouts on this one. So if you are not patient to wait for 120, you can put your stop loss right here or close the trade outrightly. Now, going into the New York session, what is our expectation if there is a possible bearish momentum at this point in the market? So if we look at what the structure has given us so far, price came into $119.40. As you can see here, we saw that price rejected this area a couple of times, hereby giving us something that looks more like a reversal setup at this point. So with a rejection of this area a couple of times, then we want to be having a neckline that could guide our actions going forward. And why am I saying this? If we notice what happened closely, if you notice what happened yesterday, we can see that we had this impulse move. We had the breakout of that structure around there where price came into $119.40, and there is a possibility that price will probably come down into that structure where we look for patterns that support a trend continuation to the upside. So what this simply means is that we want to be looking out for signals that will incite us to join that selling opportunity if it finally happens. So if we bring out our line chart so that we can identify a neckline around this area, we will be having something like this. We have a neckline right at $118.50. So what we want to be looking out for at this point, at this juncture, is that we want to be looking out for a breakout. We don't want to join outrightly. Remember, we don't want to join the sell outrightly because we really need to see confirmations that will guide us. Because we're in a long-term bullish momentum, and any selling opportunity at this point of the market requires a solid confirmation in that regard. So what I'll be suggesting that we should look out for a breakdown of that neckline, after which we look out for a retest of structure, and then we look out for patterns that support the trend continuation going to the downside. So what this simply means is that we might want to be taking a position right below that neckline. That after the confirmation is done, then we could be having a take profit target of about we could be aiming at $115, or probably we could just aim at yes, 115 50 cents thereabout, and that gives us around 300 pips approximately. And then we'll be having our stop loss right above structure here, which is around 45 pips thereabout. I think okay, we can go as far as 50. So we have something like this going into the New York session. So personally, if we have a breakdown of the neckline, then a retest into the neckline, and then we see patterns that supports a trend continuation to the downside, we can actually take that advantage of that selling opportunity. So with a 300 pips to a risk of around 50 pips, I think it makes a lot of sense. So do I have, am I clear on this? Are we on the same page on this one? Okay. So this is my expectation on the UK US oil. So in the absence of any questions or clarifications, I'll rather move on to the next pair which we talked about yesterday. So the next pair we want to be looking at is the Euro CHF. Remember, we had a profitable situation here on the Euro CHF yesterday, and I told you how I took advantage of that move right above the demand zone. And one thing I said at that point is that it was already running in profit when I shared the position with you guys yesterday. However, I made mention of a possibility that we could have another advantage if price comes down to do a rejection of this bullish trend line, where we will be looking for structures that will support a trend continuation to the upside. So to buttress this, we can see how price has been respecting that bearish trend line so far. At least since last week, we saw that price has been respecting that bearish trend line, and at the same time, we have this move we saw yesterday. It appears price is doing a correction of that move to the downside. So how do we know if this correction has culminated? I mean, how do we know the correction has ended? Our rule of thumb here is to look for a golden zone area where we could take advantage of that trend continuation. And how do we do that? We bring out our Fibonacci retracement tool and run it through the impulse leg, the previous impulse leg, after which we identify our golden zone right within 50 and 78.6% of that last impulse leg. So if we look at it closely, this is what we are going to be having at this point. So if you allow me to give this, so let's label this the buy opportunity zone going forward. So as we move on into the New York session, we want to be looking out for opportunities right within this area. It could be in the form of a reversal pattern, whatever reversal pattern you could think of. It could be a double top structure. It could be an inverse head and shoulder. It could be a rising wedge, whatever it is, a breakout of structure. Then we give us a confirmation to join the potential bullish continuation going forward. However, we are right at 50% retracement right now, and then we still need some couple of hours to give us some confirmation in this regard. So this is what I want us to be looking out for going into the new week. And if you look at this closely, we can see that the buy opportunity zone also shares a confluence with that bullish trend line we identified earlier, making it a very sensitive area we need to watch out for going into the New York session. Mind you, as if price continue as expected, our key levels still remain at 1.03400, where if we see a breakout of that key level and a retest into that area, it's another opportunity for us to add one more trade to this pair. So it's a very simple setup we have here on the Euro CHF. And one thing I also want to add to this, despite the fact that we are looking out for a bullish momentum on this one, it is also pertinent that I state here that if we have a breakdown of this buy opportunity zone, then definitely we want to be shifting our buyers to become bearish as a confirmation in the form of a retest of that bearish trend line. Then a structure that supports a trend continuation to the downside would incite that opportunity to sell this pair. But in the meantime, we still remain bullish, considering the long-term bullish momentum, long-term bullish trend line we identified here. And so that is that on the Euro CHF. So that's what I'm looking out for on the Euro CHF, and I hope things work out as expected as we await the New York session. So our take profit target still remain around this area at 1.06500, which is around 300 pips from this area. And if it comes back down into this area, then we shall be having around 370 pips potential take profit target on this one. So this is what we should be looking out for on the Euro CHF. So moving on, we have something on Usd Jpy as well, where we're already running in profit already of how many pips in profit now. We are already over 100 pips in profit. And if we look closely into what has been happening in the last 24 hours, we notice that after this impulse leg, price has been doing what looks more like a retracement phase at the moment, and we don't know how far this retracement is going to go. However, structures will definitely be our guide going forward. During the course of yesterday, I made mention of the zone at around 160.500 Japanese yen, where I suggested that if price comes back into this area, then we could be looking out for opportunity to take advantage of a trend continuation. However, if we run our Fibonacci retracement tool along that impulse leg, where is our golden zone falling at? So with our golden zone right between 50 and 78.6% of the previous impulse leg, we should definitely be having something like this. And so we have this area as a buy opportunity zone. So this is an area we might want to be taking advantage of, a buying opportunity, and then to buy on this GBP JPY, where we'll be looking for patterns that supports that trend continuation to the upside, something like this to the upside. However, in the scenario where price does not come that far, that is, price does not come into the buy opportunity zone, then we could be having a structure, because I saw something on the GBP JPY around here where price did consolidation, and we had this area around here. So with a key level, let's make it golden. So with the key level right at 161,350. Okay, give me a moment, please. Okay. So with the key level around this area, this is another clue. This is another perspective we could be looking at going into the new week. If we do have a breakout of that key level, we have a retest, then we want to join the trend continuation to the upside. Now, with this key level at this point, this is a very good a good area for us to add one more position to this if price comes back into the buy opportunity zone. So if we see something like this and price breaks above, then we want to take advantage of adding one more position at this point as well. So on the JPY, we do have a very simple setup that could guide our action going into the New York session. So mind you, our take profit target still remain within 164 area, which I said should be our initial take profit target, after which if we see a breakout of this area, then we could be looking forward to add more positions into this trade. So that is what our expectations are on the GBP JPY going into the New York session. So moving on, the next pair I want to be looking at is the AUD JPY. Our AUD JPY is already in profit. We have how many pips in profit now? We have around 75 pips in profit at the moment, and we don't know if we are going to have a retracement on this one. As you can see, price came into this 92.220 area, and after which you saw price come back down into this to reach test this area. So we don't know if we're going to be having a trend continuation to the upside. However, we could go down to the 15 minutes time frame where we can look out for structures, and then we have something like this. We can see we have a consolidation phase around here, and this phase here we need to find a structure around here that would guide our actions going into the New York session. So the first thing I observed here is this. We saw this bearish trend line, and then definitely we want to take advantage of a trend continuation. If we see a breakout of that trend line, then a retest into structure, we could take advantage of that bullish continuation to the upside. However, there is a possibility that price could come back down into this area, after which we look for structures that support a trend continuation to the upside. Please note that our key level still remains at 91 Japanese yen, and price will come that far too as well, so we never can tell what would happen at this point. So if you are taking advantage of that trade yesterday, kudos to you. But if we okay, so let's see what happens. If we have a breakout of that bearish trend line, then we wait for a retest to join the rally. So our take profit target still remains at 93.5 area, like I said, and after that we can now decide if we still want to continue the bullish momentum, that is if price allows us to. So this is my perspective on the Aud Jpy, and most times we see tractions during the Asian session on the yen pairs. So let's wait and see what happens as price action is being monitored. So moving on, we move on to USD Jpy. On the USD Jpy as well, we're already profitable on this one, and we have almost let's look at that again. We have around over 80 pips in profit. I personally added one more position at this place at 127.846. And why did I add one more position here? The reason why I did that was basically because you see, after the impulse leg broke out of that supply zone, we saw a retest of the supply zone, and not only one retest, we saw the first one here, and then we saw the second one, and then we saw this move to the upside. So personally, this looks more like a double top structure, double bottom structure for me, which on the technical perspective is a very strong reversal pattern. So we have our neckline right above this area of that reversal pattern, right above this area. So if I were you, if you are not yet in this trade, we want to be looking forward to take advantage of that bullish move. If we see a breakout and retest of this area, then you could take advantage of that bullish move. So we have around 128 Japanese yen to take advantage of another bullish momentum on the USD JPY. So let me delete this since this is no longer needed. So you can see how the 127 Japanese yen key level area has been guiding our action since the beginning of the week. Price has continued to remain right above that key level, and our take profit target still remains at 129 area, which is around 180 pips. If you are taking the trade yesterday, that's around 180 pips. Sorry, that's 80 pips. And if you are taking from this area, definitely we want to be having our stop loss right below here with around 35 pips. Then our take profit target has to remain at 29, which is around the 95 to 100 pips thereabout, which is still making more sense. Explain well to the beginners. Okay. Okay. What aspect is it that you don't understand, if I may ask, so that I can explain? What aspects is it that you don't understand in what I just talked about? So to do a quick recap on what I said on the USD JPY, I said we have a structure here, which is the neckline of the double bottom structure identified here. Then we want to be looking out for a breakout of structure, a retest into structure to take advantage of that bullish momentum to the upside. So that is simply what I'm talking about from this perspective, from this area of the market. However, if we see price come back down, the possibility that price will come back down is still very possible. Then we have this area one, we have this area to buy, we also have this area to buy too as well. So it depends on where we see reversal patterns that supports a trend continuation, then we could hop in as expected. So that is that on the USD JPY. So if we move on to Euro New Zealand. And on the Euro New Zealand, we are still struggling on the Euro New Zealand as we are yet to get any position open at this point. Remember what I said during our live session yesterday, where I told you that I'm expecting a bearish momentum on the Euro New Zealand. And the only way I could take advantage of the bearish momentum is to look out for confirmations and parameters that will support that bias. Now, I had two scenarios I shared with you yesterday where I said that we had this bearish trend line here. That's the first parameter we are looking at. Then we have the second key level at 1.66 area. That's the second one, and the third one is the neckline of this move, as in of this reversal move. This reversal move. We saw the breakdown of that bullish trend line. We saw a retest of the trend line. Then we saw since the beginning of the week, price has been oscillating right above that neckline. So the first scenario I said was this: I want to see price come into the bearish trend line or the key level where I'm going to be looking for patterns, reversal patterns that support a trend continuation to the downside. So I had the plan. I have stated this area 1.65284 as a possible entry point. That is after we have a pattern, a formation, a confirmation. After we have a confirmation around this area, we could enter at this area. Then the second scenario I shared on the Euro New Zealand is that we look forward to a breakdown of this neckline, probably with a bearish engulfing candle if possible. Then we look out for a retest of that structure. Then we take advantage after pattern supporting bearish continuation comes up. Then we take advantage of that move to the downside. Okay, yes, I've been talking about that since. I've been talking about you asking when to buy and when to sell. Definitely we are here to make money. And I've been explaining to you where to do that. Like for instance on the Euro New Zealand here, I explained to you. You see, we really need to be very, very patient. That's one problem we have with many traders. Patience, the ability to be patient, ability to wait. And that is what we have been doing. Look at, for instance, on the Euro New Zealand. We're still waiting for the past 48 hours now. We are still waiting for confirmations to happen. And like I said here on the Euro New Zealand, I said, look at the pink dotted line. Look at the purple dotted line on your screen. Those are places where you can enter. And this purple gray position is showing you where we are going. The purple area is showing you we are going down. It's showing you that we are going down. This purple area is showing you that we are going down. And the gray area is our stop loss area. That is how this is on my chart. So I said there is an entry point at 1.65292 here. That is after we have a reversal pattern formed. We could have a double top structure around this area. Then we see a breakdown of the neckline, then a retest into structure. Then we can now enter at 1.65265 that I showed you here. So that is the first scenario I explained here on the Euro New Zealand. Then the second scenario I explained, I'm actually explaining is that we should, if we see price break down this neckline at 1.64, then a retest into the structure should give us a confirmation that supports a downtrend continuation. So if the breakdown of the neckline happens, then we have these areas, entry areas around this area. We can see the purple dotted lines. Whenever you look at my screen, the purple dotted line emphasizes where our entry points will be after confirmation has been made. I hope I'm clear on that, please. 31125520. So whenever you see that purple dotted line, that is an entry point. And why I'm here is to explain to you how you're going to take advantage of that entry point when price comes into that area. I hope I'm clear on this. I hope I'm clear on this. Okay. So our take profit target remains at 1.59990, which is if we are taking from under 1.64, we'll be having around 400 pips. And if price goes as far as getting into the key level here at 1.66, then we can be taking advantage. We'll be having around 500 pips to. Okay, great. Thanks for giving me the confirmation that it's clear. Okay, so we will be having around 500 pips from the key level area. So let's keep our fingers crossed on Euro New Zealand, and let's see how price plays out in the next session. Hello, I'm a new trader. I wish to have a code. Sure, if you continue to stay with us, be with us every day, I think with time you'll get to understand what we talking about and how to take advantage of positions in the financial market. So just be around with us, stay around with us, and with time you get used to it. Patience is just required. Patience. Patience, okay? So on the USD yesterday, I don't know. Someone called on me to give an analysis on the USD card yesterday, and it actually ended up in profit. I don't know if you took advantage of that trade. Remember, this is what we saw yesterday. We saw this bearish trend line, and we said that if we saw this bearish trend line yesterday, and I said that we should wait for a breakdown. We should wait for a retest of that key level here. We saw it, we saw this move, we saw the breakdown, and then we saw the retest. We giving us a good confirmation to join the decline to the downside. And this actually moved about 36 pips before price moved back to the upside. So I don't know, I can't remember the name of the person that told me to do an analysis on the USD card. If you had done that, if you are taking advantage of that move, kudos to you. At least you made some 36 pips thereabout on the USD card. So now with the scenario we're having here on the USD card, hold on a second, let's see what is happening. Allow me to delete this so that okay. So we already have a breakout of that bearish trend line, giving us a sign that sellers are no longer respecting that bearish trend line anymore. And if we look at what's happening lately, we can see that since the breakout of the trend line, we've been seeing price has been finding um, higher lows. As you can see, price has been finding higher lows, and this is what we've been having since the last 24 hours. So what I'll be suggesting at this point is to identify a key level that will guide our action on the USD card going into the New York session. And so what's the parameter for finding a key level? We can see that this area has been a support level at one point, a resistant level, a resistant level, a resistant level also, and then we also have a resistant level. Then we had the resistant level at this point. So with the resistance and support level margin at around which what area is that, 1.26850, they're about 1.26820. So if we are going to take any trade on this one, then definitely we want to be using this key level as our yardstick going forward. So now that we have our key level drawn out, a breakout of that key level and a retest into the key level will probably send price going up. So that's the first scenario I'm seeing here. However, we need to go to a higher time frame to actually see what is happening on the higher time frame. Well, on the higher time frame, like I said yesterday, I really don't have um structures that I can hold on to guide my actions going forward. The only thing I can only say at this point is that since price has been finding higher lows since yesterday, then definitely we want to wait for a breakout of this. We want to be waiting for a breakout of the structure of that key level, a retest, then we can join the potential uptrend scenario. And if that uptrend happens, then we could be using this area as our take profit target, and that's like how many pips? That's around 75 to 80 pips thereabouts. We can take advantage of. So patience is required. I keep repeating that patience is required. We need to wait for structures to line up and support our expectations. Now that we've identified a possible bullish momentum, now let's look at how to take advantage of a bearish momentum on this one. So if we look closely into what has been happening in the last 24 hours, we notice that price has been finding higher high, which I explained earlier. And because price has been finding higher high, we can connect the series of pivot lows since yesterday to give us that bullish trend line. So with a bullish trend line identified here now, we want to be looking forward to a breakdown of that trend line, then a retest to join a decline to the downside. So if we are having that kind of scenario, then we want to be entering this trade right below this level. That is after the confirmation has happened. So that's my dotted pink line. But you only enter after we see a breakdown of that bullish trend line. Then we see a retest of that key level, which also shares a confluence with the bullish trend line. After which we look for patterns, probably a double top structure, whatever it is, to join the decline to the downside. So this is one perspective to this. Then where will our take profit target be? So our take profit target will be let's extend that impulse leg. Let's extend that impulse leg from here. So I think from here. So with an impulse leg around this area, so we're looking at least a maximum of 1414% extension, and that's around 56 pips. And then we have our stop loss right above structure at around 10 pips, 10, 11 pips thereabouts. So that's what our expectation is going to be on the USD CAD. So if you want to sell, let's wait for the breakdown of the key level of this trend line. We look for a retest of structure, then we can join the decline to the downside. However, for the buy opportunity, we have our entry point right above that key level here at 1.26800 area. Then we look forward to a breakout of that key level, a retest into the key level, which also shares a confluence with the bullish trend line, after which we look for structures that support a trend continuation to the upside. So we want to be having an entry around above that key level with stop loss right below key level at around 8 9 pips. Okay, let's put at 11 pips. then our take profit targets could be inside here, because this is where market started this week, at around 43 pips, or you can extend it further into 1.27600 area, which is around 75 pips thereabouts. So this is what's I'm looking out for going into the New York session. So that's that on USD CAD. So if we move on to USD CHF, we are still profitable on USD CHF. And right now, one thing we noticed was that price broke the bearish trend line we identified yesterday. We have this bearish trend line that was broken yesterday. Then we saw a retest of structure. Then we saw that big boom that went up to the upside. So now price has been doing a consolidation space ever since then. So we're still expecting a bullish momentum on this one, and yeah, we are still expecting a bullish momentum on this one. So our take profit target still remain at 0.96800, which is around 100 pips profit on this one. So I want to add one more thing here. We have an opportunity to add one more position to this trade right above this area. So we have something around this area. So if we do have a break above this level, we have a breakout and a retest, then we can add one more position to this trade. I do hope I'm clear on this one. I'm so sorry, I can't speak French. I don't speak French, unfortunately. I wish I could be of help in that regard. So this is my expectation on USD CHF. So let me quickly give you a quick icing on the cake. I have a position here on the GBP USD, and it's already in profit for me personally. The reason why I took this trade, the first thing I observed was that on the 1 hour time frame here, we saw that since the beginning of the week, price has been rejecting 1.26600, making that area a supply zone. And you can see that supply zone has been holding since last week. We can see, let's give our supply zone red. So it has been a supply zone for me since last week. And one thing I was waiting for was the breakdown of this bullish trend line, which finally happened during the early hours of today. So immediately I saw that, and price came back above this area. When price was around this area, I just placed a pending order right below the key level here at 1.26180. So this is the trade has already been triggered already for me, and I'm already running in about how many pips in profit now? Around 24 pips in profit already, and I am aiming at 1.24750 as my take profit target, and that's around 140 pips. And the reason why my take profit target is around this area is basically because if we look left, we can see that we have a demand structure around this area that has held price supported in the past. So that's why our take profit target is around this area. So for you now, if you are just joining me, and the only way you can take advantage of this is one. The first one is if price comes back into this area, then you can take advantage of that move. That means price entry at 1.26157. However, if price does not come that far, then if we bring out our line chart at this point, we will notice that we had a support level that was broken, that should be broken here. So give me a moment, allow me to do this. Okay, that's my purple line here. So that's another area we can actually take advantage of this bearish momentum. So if you are taking it from this area, then definitely you will be having around 100 pips to catch if price move as expected. So with your stop loss right above this area, that's around 35 pips, 36 pips stop loss right above this structure here. So if you're in, you can take advantage of that, and I hope things work out as expected going into the New York session. So I think at this point I would like to call it a day, and let us see what happens in the next couple of hours. So by tomorrow, we will be here again tomorrow to talk about, to see what happened on the trades we looked at today. So if you allow, let me quickly do a quick recap on this one, if I can be fast enough to do that. For those who missed, on the UK oil, I had two scenarios on the UK oil. We saw this bearish engulfing candle, and we have this bullish trend line here on the UK oil. So one thing we observed was that we had a channel here price has been respecting before we saw that breakout, and then we had this channel between this area, and now price has come back into the channel. So one thing I was looking forward to is this. I'm having two scenarios on this one. The first scenario is if we do have a breakdown of this structure, a retest into structure should give us a confirmation in the form of a reversal pattern to join the decline to the downside. So if that happens, we have our entry point right here at $118.76. So with a take profit target at $112, that's for a selling opportunity. However, if we do have a break above, then we want to be looking for a retest of structure to join the potential rally to the upside. And if we are joining a potential rally, we should be having an entry point right at $120.68 with a take profit target at $126. I think that is clear. Now, moving on, US oil. On the US oil, we have the same scenario. And one thing on the US oil I said is this: we are still profitable in the US oil, even though our take profit target still remains at 120. Price has been rejecting the $119.40 area, giving us a sign that we might be having a reversal pattern at this point. We saw the breakout of the structure. We saw the breakout of the structure here. We saw price break above the structure to the upside. So I'm expecting we could be having a retracement phase into this area before we see the trend continuation to the upside. So how do we take advantage of that retracement when it finally happens? So the thing I said is this: price already moving in that direction already. So the thing I said is this: I said we should wait for a breakdown of the structure, after which we look for a retest of structure. You see, mind you, this retest we are looking for could be on a lower time frame, let's say the 10 minutes, 5 minutes, or the 15 minutes time frame. Now we look for patterns that support a trend continuation to the downside. So our entry point is right at $118.48, and with a stop loss at $119, and take profit target at $115.50. So we are aiming at around 300 pips on this one. So that's on the US oil. So we're moving on to Euro CHF. On the Euro CHF, boom, we're already in the buy opportunity zone area. So now we are looking for opportunities in the form of a reversal pattern right on this bullish trend line to take advantage of that bullish continuation. Mind you, this reversal pattern could probably take around 2 to 3 4 hours thereabouts. So we really need to be very, very patient to allow our price action to line up in our favor before jumping into the rally. And also I stated that if we do have a breakdown of that bearish trend line, of that buying opportunity zone 2 as well, then a retest of that structure should signal a change in buyers, as we will be looking to sell the euro against the CHF. Well, at the moment we are waiting for a reversal pattern around this area. It could be a double top bottom structure, it could be an inverse head and shoulder, and we'll take the trend continuation to the upside. Then I also added that our key level here within the supply zone at 1.03400 area, if we do have price break above that level, and we see a retest, we want to add one more position to the trade right above this area. So that is that on the Euro CHF. Now moving on to GBP JPY, or the GBP JPY. I told you we're already in profit on GBP JPY, and price appears to be doing a retracement phase at this point. However, we don't know how far this retracement will go. It's cool if it goes further down, then we want to be looking for buying opportunity right within this area to take advantage of the trend continuation. However, if price does not go this far, then we want to be looking for a break above this level, this key level at 161.350 area, then a retest to join the bullish momentum to the upside. So our take profits target still remains around between 163.5 and 164.5 area, which is about from this area it's about 250 pips, and then if it's from this area it's about 350 pips thereabout. So patience, 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 please. Let's wait for price to line up in our favor before we join the potential rally. So on the AUD JPY, we are already profitable on the AUD JPY, and we saw this move to the upside, and we saw this retracement phase. We don't know if retracement phase will still go this far. However, if it doesn't, then I said that we have a structure here. When we move to the 15 minutes time frame, we saw a structure around this area. So what I said was that if we see a breakout of the structure and a retest into structure, we should be looking for patterns that will support a trend continuation to the upside. That is if price does not come this far. So take profit targets still remain between 93.5 and 94 Japanese yen, which from this area is about how many pips? It's about 180 pips. And if price comes down to the key level, then it's about 260 pips thereabouts. On the USD JPY, we are profitable already on the USD JPY, and like I told you, I said I already added one more position at this point. You can see the dotted purple line here, and I also made mention that you could add one more position to this trade if we see a breakout of that key level at what's it called, 128.060. If we have a breakout, we wait for a retest of structure, then you add one more position to this trade. So we still have our take profit target at 129 Japanese yen on this one. So if you took advantage of this trade since yesterday, it's advisable that you move your stop loss right into the supply zone at around 127.500 area or 127.400 area to lock in some profit at this point. So the Euro New Zealand, like I said, we are still struggling on the Euro New Zealand. I think I explained that we are looking forward to a breakdown of this. We are looking forward to a breakdown of this neckline here, after which we look for a retest of structure to join the decline to the downside. So our entry point for this one is right around 1.64104. That is, if we have that breakdown of that neckline. However, on the contrary, I also made mention that there is a possibility of price going into the key level at 1.66 area, after which we look for a reversal pattern around this area to join the decline to the downside. Take profit target still remains at 1.59990, and if we are taking it from this neckline at 1.64, we are having around 410 pips profit potential, and if we are going to be taking it at the key level here, we will be having around 500 pips profit potential. So patience, let's keep our fingers crossed. Let's wait for the signals and wait for the confirmation to line up for us to join the decline on the Euro New Zealand. So the last one I'm going to be sharing was the USD card. Finally, the USD card is moving as expected. Like I told you, I said we are waiting for the breakdown of this bullish trend line, which is already happened. You can see it's massive. This move is massive already, and we want to wait for this breakdown to happen, we want to wait for this candle to finish below the trend line, then we want to be look for a retest to join the decline to the downside. So we already have a signal forming on the USD card for us. So let's hold on and let's see how price plays out. Please note that we want this candle to close below the bullish trend line. Then we want to see a retest of either the key level or the bullish trend line to join the decline to the downside. However, the other possibility on this one is if we do have a breakout of this key level, that is candle close above the key level, then a retest to structure, then we could join a potential rally to the upside. So that is that on the USD card. And on the USD CHF, we're still profitable on this one, and I've advised that we move our stop loss to break even on this one, and let's see how price plays out in the next couple of hours. So JPY USD, the last one, did you take it? Okay, it's still running as expected. So let's see what happens on the GBP USD. So on this note, I think I made justice to our expectations on this today. Medina, thanks for the compliment. So that is that for today, and let's see how price plays out in the next couple of hours. And tomorrow we shall be here to take a revisit of all these pairs, and let's see if we are profitable or not. But I assure you we are going to be on the positive side. So thank you for being around. I'm so excited to be with you, and it has been a wonderful moment. So on this note, I would like to pause the video and call it a day.